Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show on cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, digital executive producer for Fox 61 in Hartford. And joining me, we have representation from three different time zones tonight. We have, we're going to head west from where I am in the Hartford area. Glenn Packman is in Fairfield County, Eastern time zone. And noted comedian and interior designer. And then we have Jeff Buchholz, who is in Chicago in the Central Time Zone. And he is a writer-editor at WBBM in Chicago. And some of you might recognize my brother Dave, who is in the Mountain Time Zone in the Denver area. And Dave is our resident expert on electric pickup trucks, which leads us to our topic for tonight, the new Slate pickup truck, which is an idea at this point. It seems to have corporeal form. Mm-hmm. So that's a plus, considering some of the things that we've seen in the past, couple year or so. And it's a very inexpensive truck, battery-powered truck, rear-wheel drive, Spartan, not a lot of toys, frippery nonsense. And it's the idea is that you can customize it and build it up. So I'm going to start with Jeff, talk about what you think about the new Slate, the proposed Slate.
This appears to be much less vaporware than some of the other concepts we've seen over the last few years. There's some actual money behind it, investors including Jeff Bezos, and they appear to have a plant in mind where they're going to produce it. I think it's going to be in Indiana. The idea for this is basically, what if you built a 2006 Ford Ranger only electric? Now, I think the 2006 Ford Ranger is one of the best pickups ever made. I mean, it is pretty much all the truck anybody really needs. And those things run forever and ever and ever. I'd love to get my hands on an early 2000s Ranger and just kind of have it around. But this is a really interesting idea. It is basically the folks at Slate reading all of the auto website comment sections who are all like, oh, we could just get back to having a basic vehicle with no nonsense on it. And just saying, okay, well, bet. Here you go. Here's a truck with, in a nod to, and I'm sure this was their inspiration, the Nissan Pulsar NX of the mid to late 80s. Your choice of back end. Do you want your XJ Cherokee like back end? Do you want something a little more slanted, or do you want an open bed pickup? It is, as you say, rear wheel drive. There is a single motor. I think the range is somewhere under 200 miles, but you can spec it up with a larger battery, which gets you to about 240 or 250. It is as bare can be. Armstrong windows, which I haven't had on a car since I think my Saturn in 1992. There isn't a giant screen in the center of the dash. There is a place where you can put your smartphone and plug it in, and you may spec speakers for it so that your music can play out of the speakers. There is a camera on it, which I think pops up in the center instrument cluster display, and it will ship as a gray truck with plastic body panels. Another nod to my old Saturn.
Right.
What I think is clever about this is that the company is pretty much saying you can spec this however you want, but you have to be the person who puts it together. If you want power windows on your truck, they will send you a kit and you plug them in. If you want a rear seat in your truck, they will send it to you, including evidently airbag modules.
Really?
You can plug them in. Yes. You may, if you want it, if you're not so much down with the Henry Ford-esque any color you want, as long as it's gray aesthetic, You may have your car wrapped in, and I think it's pretty much any combination of color you want, with lots of different stripe configurations, wheels, wheel decals, stripes, whatever you want. It is an amusing idea, and the breakdown of the commentary, it seems to be of two minds. Oh my God, it's about time. They're going to sell 1 million of them, and Americans love their big fancy trucks. They will sell dozens. If you think back to the never nude episode arc of Arrested Development, there are dozens of us, and it's gonna flop is one of the predictions. I think it's good that someone's thinking about this, that
Mhm.
someone is thinking what the world needs is not only a good 5-cent cigar, but a good $25,000 ish or so electric pickup. And by the way, this thing is smaller than a Maverick, if that gives you
Right.
some
Yeah.
idea, with a larger bed.
Okay.
So it could probably do truck things. I'll tell you, the people who will probably buy this, or the customers more likely to buy this, at least in the beginning, are going to be government agencies,
Mhm.
municipal parks and rec departments,
Mhm.
who are looking for a way to decrease their carbon footprint without
Mhm.
going with the Lightning Pro or the work truck spec of the Chevy Silverado. Um, I think for them and for people who just want sort of a second truck to knock around and take to Home Depot on the weekends, I think I think it's a winner. I sure hope people buy it.
Mhm. Dave,
Yes.
a recent buyer of a Ford Lightning.
Uh-huh.
Um, what do you think of this Slate?
Well, they were saying in some of their introductory stuff, they were saying the words first car. And I think that that is at least one of their intended markets. Um, they're going to have to, and one of the things I was thinking was it's going to be very, very local oriented.
Mhm.
And first car buyers are going to be the only people who are like, yeah, I could buy that. And if I really had to, I could make a highway trip. But you're going to have to be like our other brother, Jeff had a Dodge Dart as one of his first cars. And we drove out to St. Louis one time, and he would was very concerned about oil consumption. So we would drive for like an hour and a half, and we would stop and we would let the thing cool down to check the oil. And that's the kind of trip that you're going to have in the Slate, is you're going to have to drive for an hour and a half. You're going to have to plug into a charger and charge for, a half an hour and then keep going. And that the only people who would have the patience to do that, I think, are your young persons. So,
The Utes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they would also be interested in the customization phase
Mhm.
and the I can buy this now and later on I can add more stuff to it. Um, that works for them as well. I believe that it's possible, just looking at the math for the batteries and everything like that. I believe that it's possible that you could get by plugging this thing into a regular 120 volt outlet overnight and getting enough charge
Mhm.
to only have to do that maybe 2 or 3 days during a week and just drive the thing on a commuting cycle. And the thing about 120 volt outlets is like if you're in an apartment or something like that, you don't really have to worry about an excess of charging infrastructure. You don't have to buy a charger and get the charger installed and have it be a high speed one. You can just, this car comes with a little plug thing and you plug it in and you're all set there.
Cool. Glenn,
I'm gonna,
are you expecting to see a whole bunch of these in Fairfield County?
um, you know, I'm gonna harken back to like the 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit, which was a Spartan vehicle that really clicked with the preppy class, if you will. That was definitely the people of Fairfield County. It was a very popular car amongst the upper middle to upper class because there was something there. It was such a good little car that it became desirable. So there might be something to that in that somebody might say, well, I like the fact that it's so practical that I want one in my driveway so my neighbors see how practical I am. So there could be that sort of reverse snobbery is what could happen. I think what Dave was saying about, being able to plug this thing in with just a cord is an amazing feature. Now it's going to take forever for this car to recharge that way, but it's good for an overnight.
Sure.
So if you use up only 20% of your juice and that's it, you plug it in, and by the next morning, that's most of that 20% is going to be back. But furthermore, they're offering two other ways to charge the car. You can plug it into an appliance outlet, which is more juice, and that will be twice as fast as the plug, or you can do just a standard charger, and that's twice as fast as the appliance plug. So you have this range of ways to charge up the car. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people because, yeah, you could get stuck in the middle of nowhere. All you need is a long enough extension cord to get to a regular outlet, and you are going to be getting some juice for this thing. And that's comforting, especially for somebody like me who doesn't know electric vehicles that well. I think that's a great feature. My big question, this is the big, big, big question, is everyone in this chat room remembers what a Strippo car looks like. Jeff, you were mentioning 2006. Well, we have a lot of people that are coming into their first car that were born after 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there are going to be people out there that crank windows are going to register with. They're going to have no idea what they are. And if the complete austerity of this car is going to hit with them. I'm thinking it may, especially considering that you have no entertainment, no navigation. What you do is you put your phone in a special jack or an iPad, and you bring it all into the car. So it's just another way of saving money, is what it comes down to.
Which
I actually think that's brilliant.
I
Honestly.
do too.
I've been thinking about that for a long time. Like, why do we have all of this stuff when all we're doing is, plugging our phones in or putting our phones on the charging pad and, unless you're driving a General Motors car, a General Motors electric car, you're just having your phone is being mirrored in the display inside the car, which is what everybody prefers anyway.
Precisely. And you know what? It takes the onus off of the car maker to have to update software and put in the latest thing.
Yep.
And that's constantly changing and moving forward. So it's a terrific way of saving money. The body panel thing, those plastic body panels, if you want a different color, they send out a wrapping kit. Okay. And P.S., their plan is to have Slate garages that will do any of the upgrades that you want to do for you. You just have to pay them. So it comes down to, do I want to be really good at doing my own Slate crap, which you can learn apparently, or do I want to just hand it off to somebody? So there's that great option there, and I was just reading that one of their people said that they're saving something nutty like $330 million by not having to paint body panels.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Some of the biggest complaints about cars comes down to that kind of exterior finish. Like there's orange peel in the paint, or there's that kind of stuff. So this just gets them out of that, column entirely. Yeah,
precisely.
For sure.
And what's really cool is, okay, so I'm buying the little gray pickup truck. I think I want mine in burnt orange. And you just go online, use their little color wheel, you pick the exact shade you want, you send it off to them, costs you maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe $1,000. And you bring the car over to the guy who does the wrapping. He wraps your panels and gives you your car back, and boom, new car. New color anyways. So many brilliant ideas. Will it register with America? Who knows?
Well, and this is my thing. And Jeff, you touched on this a little bit. I don't know if it's the car that everyone says they want, but few people will buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brown manual station wagon, for instance.
right. And there's dozens. These cars litter the automotive Hall of Fame, and we've mentioned them before. There's a really great Mazda that was all-wheel drive. It was a forget what the model designation was.
Oh, the 323 GTX, that one?
Yeah.
That was a great car that was literally sold to tens of people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Cadillac station wagon, the
The
SCTX.
the CTSV, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like and now you're lucky if you can find one for any kind of reasonable price. My other question is, is this like, here we have your starter home, but if you want doors or windows or how much that price goes up? Because I haven't seen any kind of documentation of what that upcharge is.
Yeah, they haven't really said what the accessories will cost. We have a vague idea of the ballpark for the base price of the truck, which, depending on the incentives, is going to be anywhere between $20,000 and $25,000.
Right.
Just not terrible. But yeah, I mean, that is the big question. And Glenn, you talked about, wrapping the car in a color. My understanding, and I've never priced this out to any great detail, my understanding is that wrapping a car costs about as much as painting a car.
Oh,
So
really?
you're actually looking at about $2,500 to $3,000 if
If
it's
you don't
that.
work right. Yeah.
Right. It could be less than that, but we don't know. I do think that Dave is onto something having to do with, you get the basic truck now, and then later on, when you're slightly more successful, then you start buying upgrades and making it more, to your liking. Although at that point, a lot of people just sort of buy a new car. I mean, that's kind of how that works. It is a different way of looking at sort of having your car grow with you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, if I was going to seriously consider one of these, and I just might, because just from our neck of the woods, we have so many people that could use this as the train car. The people who need a car that just
for
need to
sure.
get down to the train to get into New York City and then back home again. This is the perfect train car because it's cheap. You can plug it in at home, and what do you know? It's got a bed for when you need to go to the Home Depot on the weekend and pick up potted plants for the missus. It definitely works. My big going to be a good car because all I can think about is the failure of the Yugo, which was sort of cut from the same cloth, if you think about it. Really cheap, very simple, very inexpensive, and designed to get to the people who wanted something really bare bones, but they wanted it new. The problem with the Yugo, what a hunk of junk. What a hunk of junk. Just a massive piece of, it was a paperweight that rolled.
It was a Fiat.
I remember Consumer Reports. What?
Glenn, you're missing the point. It was a Fiat.
Yeah, it was a Fiat built in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of electric cars are like an easy button for companies, startup companies, because you can say, I'm going to build an electric car, and everybody's like, you don't have any questions about what motor you're going to use, how you're going to get EPA certification for the motor and the transmission, and are you going to buy it from somebody? Are you going to build it from, do you have a foundry or whatever? That's going to skip some of the Yugoslavian problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And it does look like they're going to be buying in electric motors and batteries from somewhat established companies that make this stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's your drivetrain. So all you got to do is do a little computer programming, and you kind of
right,
at least rolling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you don't have all those pesky problems. I mean, it's simple and direct. And Jeff, you brought up the Ranger, and our dad had a 98 I'm sorry, 88 Ranger, 87, 88 Ranger.
88.
And it was the extra cab, but
Mhm.
Glenn and I at different times owned the same Mazda B2300,
Yep.
which
Which was
was
the Ranger.
right, which had no extra cab. It was just the thing. I could carry things or I could carry people.
Mhm.
And the fact I thought it was I looked at it and said, okay, that has a lot of use, but if you want to carry a person and their stuff, you're going to have a problem. But
Mhm.
now that you have this ability to put a cap on it and open that up, okay, that makes a
Right.
whole hell of a lot of difference. I really hope that they do well. I mean, I think this is a great idea. And if this is successful, then I think you'll see other smaller things. And I can just see a bunch of these in dramatic hunter green as parks vehicles in the New York State park system,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
or
Sure.
Joe's delivery service, or 20 other things. I think it absolutely ticks all the boxes
Sure.
for that kind of vehicle.
I think this car has every opportunity to become the next Volkswagen Bug,
It
which
could.
was it could be a cult car, because it's inexpensive and it is available to the masses and easily personalized. So why not? It could really click with people, especially and forgive me, because I know there's a lot of people who don't want to order from Amazon, but there's many more Americans who do. If you can go to Amazon and order a car,
Yeah.
and you just click, 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 and they say your car is going to be ready in 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
I know zillions of people that would love to get to that simplistic point. They're talking about no dealership network. They're not talking. They're talking about no haggling pricing. It's the simplicity of buying this car could be something that pushes it way over the edge,
Could
or
you
not.
see it? Could you see a day when, because Amazon has a deal with Hyundai
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
to sell them, and for every Hyundai Telluride or Palisade, whatever, I can't remember which is which. Every big SUV Hyundai, you
Mhm.
you get a free Slate.
A free Slate.
I like that.
Two for the price of one.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anyone else see that somebody pointed out uh Slate is an anagram
Oh
for
yeah.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Oh, I had not seen
Oh,
that, but that's very
ooh,
witty.
ooh, it's
Um,
Tesla only
It
different.
is, it is the pickup is really the anti-Cybertruck,
yeah.
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
think about it.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Much cheaper. Very, very mundanely styled. Oh, and it has utility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And speaking of big electric pickup trucks,
Dave.
Dave,
Dave.
you after a long search have purchased a Ford F-150 Lightning. You bought it used. What are you thinking of your Lightning?
I think it's really, really good. Um, you said big, and big is a predominant feature of the Lightning. I if you like, I was looking at Ford F-150s. They're everywhere because they're extremely popular, and I was looking at them on the road, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not that big. It's bigger than my truck that I have now, but that's not that big. It's fine. But in it, it's higher than the Frontier was, and it's wider than the Frontier was, and it's it feels quite large to me at the moment. So, uh, but like, and the other thing that I was thinking was like the center console is enormous. Like it like the back seat is easily a three across thing, and the center console is basically the size of a whole center seat, like for like a good size, center seat, not just
Mhm.
cram in or anything like that. And if you open it up and you throw something in there and then you try and find it while you're driving, like what? There's this huge space down here. So, but it's very nice.
Have you hooked up a charger for the house yet? You haven't, I don't believe.
No, so I don't drive too much, so I the last time it was fully charged was April 30th. and I've been driving on the same charge, and I still have, I don't know, a couple hundred miles range on it.
Goodness.
So and the one of the things is that you forget that it gets really, really good mileage around town. Like I get basically like 3 miles per kilowatt, and the EPA sticker is more like gives you the idea that 2.4 is what you're going to get on like a combined cycle. So like my range is really high around town unless I get on the highway and go like 70, and then my range is terrible. So, and it's just getting into the warmer weather, so my range is awesome, and cold weather it's going to be terrible. So I'm sort of avoiding a lot of the pitfalls right now, and then it'll be too late.
And is it all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive?
Yeah, four-wheel drive. There's no switching to two-wheel drive or anything like that. It's
Okay.
just completely
So essentially
automatic.
it's all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the tech?
It's okay. I'm not really a tech person, so a lot of it is figuring it out. So I have to, every once in a while I go out and I spend about an hour pushing buttons.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, and looking for stuff in the menus. There's things that you can change and things that, I wonder if I can change this. Um, I like there's probably 8 ways to unlock it. Um, uh, uh, I have 2 keys. Okay, that's obvious. But if I walk up to it with the key in my pocket, it unlocks. It there's a keypad, the Ford keypad with the 5-digit thing. You can unlock it with that with a code. Um, you don't have to have the key on you. If you have unlocked it with that code, then you can enter a code on the screen and it'll let you drive it. It has phone with the key. Uh, it I can unlock it from using the phone remotely, from my house or whatever. Um, and there might be other ways that I don't know about.
And I think you're right in buying it used. I mean, how many miles did it have on it?
Like just sort of, it was like 9,800 miles.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got it at a significant discount from new.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like the sticker price is like 81,000 or something, 81,300 something.
Hmm.
So yeah. And I keep looking to see if I got a good deal, and I think I got a good deal. So
Um, and you had said something about your wife earlier.
yeah. Well, she thinks it's a great truck. She has actually driven it once, and she was able to drive it, so that was good.
Good, good. And it must be a change from her Miata.
Gracious. Put the Miata in the bed.
That solves that parking problem.
Exactly.
Well,
Buy an
great.
F-150 Lightning, get a free used Miata.
Sure. Sure.
We've got a theme going.
Yeah, yeah. All right, gentlemen, this has been great. I appreciate you, everyone hanging out, you guys, our audience. And it'd be interesting times. So hopefully, I would like to see the Slate and the Stick Out come out at the same time. I think that would be an interesting a lot of comparison tests there. But, all right, remember that you can watch older episodes of Car-Pinionated on our YouTube page. And with that, we will see you next time.